let's just be real for a second. If you're a parent, you know that discipline is hands down one of the toughest parts of the job, right? It's filled with all these questions and doubts, and it feels like everyone has a different opinion.
And really, it all boils down to this one huge question. For, generations, physical punishment was a pretty common answer. But today, we've got decades of research and just so much better information. So let's dive in and see what the science actually tells us.
So, where do we even start? Well, let's go straight to the top. We're going to look at the definitive guidance from the leading authority on child health in the United States, the American Academy of Pediatrics, or the AAP for short. What's so powerful about this is just how crystal clear it is. There's really no wiggle room, no gray area. And remember, this isn't just one doctor's hot take. This is the official policy from thousands and thousands of pediatricians, and it's all based on a mountain of evidence. So why are they so firm on this? Well, it's because the research is overwhelming. Things like spanking are, at best, minimally effective in the short term. I mean, get this. One study in 2014 found that 73% of kids went right back to doing the exact same thing within 10 minutes of being spanked. And in the long term, it's just not effective at all. But it's not just about it not working. The evidence shows it can actually be actively harmful. For instance, long-term studies found that toddlers who were spanked more were actually more aggressive by the time they turned 5. You see how that works? It creates this negative spiral. The AAP also links these methods to things like mental health issues, problems with cognitive development, and it can do real damage to that super important parent-child bond. Okay, so if punishment is out, then what? What are we supposed to do instead? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. It requires a pretty powerful shift in how we think, moving away from the idea of punishment and really redefining the true goal of discipline itself. And the clue is hiding in plain sight, right there in the word. Discipline actually comes from the Latin word disciplinare, which means, get this, to teach or to train. It's the same root as the word disciple. And when you think about it that way, it totally reframes your role as a parent. You're not an enforcer, you're a teacher, a guide. Let's just break that down a bit. Punishment? It's all reactive. Its only goal is to stop a bad behavior right now, in this moment. But teaching is proactive. It's all about building the skills for good behavior in the future. See the difference? Punishment models that hitting or yelling is how you solve problems. Teaching models self-control. One approach just manages a moment, while the other literally helps build a person. So how do we teach? Well, the most effective kind of discipline is the kind that matches what a child is actually capable of understanding at each stage of their development. And for that, we can turn to the CDC's developmental milestones to be our guide. It's a fantastic resource. Let's start with the toddler years. Okay, so picture an 18-month-old. Their whole world is about exploring and copying people, and they have basically zero impulse control. So what does that actually look like in real life? At this age, they are into everything. They're walking, grabbing, scribbling, and copying every single thing you do. They can understand simple directions, sure, but that part of their brain that's in charge of stopping and thinking first, it's just really underdeveloped. They're not trying to drive you crazy. They're like little scientists just testing out the world. So when you know that, the CDC's advice here makes perfect sense. Your number one tool is redirection. They're grabbing something they shouldn't? Don't punish. Just give them a toy they can play with. Guide them to a better activity. And you save the word no for moments of real danger. That way it keeps its power. It's all about teaching, not punishing. Okay, now let's fast forward a bit and see how this all changes as they grow. Let's jump ahead to the preschool years. A ton has changed in their brain development. A 4-year-old is making these huge leaps, both cognitively and socially. They're forming complex sentences, they're starting to show empathy, they might hug a friend who's crying, and they get that the rules are different at the library than they are at the playground. They have a growing ability to actually reason about things. And because their brains have leveled up, our teaching strategies can level up too. Now we can start using simple explanations. We can't jump on the couch because it's not safe. And we can empower them with choices. Do you want it to play outside, or should we put on some music and dance? This stuff teaches problem solving and self-regulation. I mean, these are skills they're going to use for the rest of their lives. All right, let's pull all this great information together. Based on everything we've heard from the AAP and the CDC, what are the core strategies that we can use every single day? It really boils down to these 5 simple things. 1, Actively teach them the behavior you want to see. Don't just say, don't do that. Show them what to do. 2. Catch them being good. Seriously, praise is so powerful. 3. Set clear and simple limits and be consistent. 4. Especially for the little ones, redirect, redirect, redirect. And 5, maybe the most important, model the self-control you want them to learn. Your calm is their blueprint. At the end of the day, this whole conversation leaves us with one last really crucial question to think about. What if the goal of discipline isn't really about stopping misbehavior in the moment at all? What if it's about building a better brain for the future? Every choice we make is helping to wire our child's brain for things like empathy, self-control, and resilience. It's not just about raising a well-behaved child, it's about raising a well-adjusted adult.